Parthiban Kanavu, English translation by Anand Kannan, narrated by Sujatha Anand. Book 3, Chapter 6. The Sculptor's House. There was a footpath cutting through the jungle. The growth was dense enough to block out light during daytime. There was no light at all at night, unlike on the minor road, where starlight helped visibility somewhat. Vikraman realized that he was following a stranger in such odd settings. For all his bravery, he was very nervous. The footpath was narrow enough that tree branches and shrubs rubbed against him as he walked. He could hear the harsh hoots of owls. There was a roar from a distance. The horse neighed in response. The spy chief patted the horse reassuringly. The horse led the way. The spy chief and Vikraman followed in that order. Vikraman tripped on a tree root. The spy chief lent him a hand to get him on his feet. Vikraman was amazed at the strength of the grip. Such strong hands. The spy chief should be an awesome warrior. The emperor seems to be good at picking the right man for the job, he thought. Just as he was wondering if the darkness would ever end, he could see the sky. He could see the outline of a building at a distance. "We are here. You can rest here overnight and leave in the morning," said the spy chief. "Sounds like a plan. Whose house is this? Who would build a house in the middle of such a dense jungle? And why?" asked Vikraman, puzzled. "The man who built the house is no more. This was not such a remote place in his days. I can tell you the story if you can't sleep at night." The spy chief knocked on the door. Vikraman saw then that it was not an ordinary house. It looked like a temple or art gallery. The door opened. An old woman emerged carrying a lamp. She looked at the spy chief with raised eyebrows, clearly surprised at his arrival. The spy chief quickly touched his lips with his left index finger. She understood the signal and wiped the look of surprise from her face. She opened the door wide, saying, "Please come in, sir." The two men entered the house. The horse entered the house with an air of familiarity. It went through the back door and waited. The old woman opened the back door, and the horse went out through the door. The spy chief turned to Vikraman and said, "See how smart this horse is? I had tied it in the backyard when I came here once before. It seems to find its way from memory. I'm going to tend to the horse. Look at the sculptures as you wait." He went out through the back door, and the old woman followed him with the lamp. A bright lantern on the wall was lighting up the room. Vikraman looked around and concluded that it was not really a house, but a sculpture gallery. The house seemed to be full of wonderful sculptures. The walls were covered with colorful paintings. They seemed to have been painted several years ago, but it still seemed full of life. The girl of divine beauty figured prominently in the sculptures and paintings. The art seemed to be based on her dance poses and facial expressions. Vikraman was stunned by the skill and beauty on display in those works of art. The art he had seen in Uriur Gallery and the Mamalapuram Art Festival could not come even close. He couldn't wait to find out about the master artist who created all those works of art. The spy chief returned after feeding the horse. Vikraman asked, "Sir, these statues are incredible. Who is the sculptor who created these? The statues feature a woman of divine beauty. Was she real or a creation of the sculptor's imagination? Why is this art hidden in the jungle? Should they not be exhibited to the public?" "As I said, it's a long story. If you don't mind foregoing sleep for the rest of the night, I will tell you. I'm starving right now. The old woman is bringing us a meal of flour of flaked rice and jaggery. Let's eat first." They ate. While they were eating, Vikraman said, "You did not tell me your name." "My name is Veerasenan. Yours?" Surprised, Vikraman responded, "Mine is Devasenan." "Nice. We have an affinity in our names. We can speak freely. Why are you going to Uriur in a hurry?" If your goal is to sell precious gems, shouldn't you go to Kanchi? Despite feeling grateful and warm towards the spy chief, Vikraman grew cautious. What if he discovers my identity? I have to watch what I say, he thought. My mother is in Orayur. I'm eager to see her. That is the reason I'm rushing to go to Orayur. Didn't you say you are from Senvaga Island? My birthplace is Orayur. I went to Senvaga Island a few years ago to make a livelihood. After the Choya kingdom was annexed to the Pallava Empire, its prosperity was gone. What sort of gem trade can I do in a city with no royal family? Vikraman mentioned the royal family, hoping Veerasenan would say something about Queen Arulmozhi. It did not work out that way. Veerasenan remained quiet for the rest of the meal. After the meal, Vikraman asked again for the story of the house. Devasenan, do you believe in death? Asked the spy chief. Vikraman was nonplussed. What do you mean, believe in death? Do you really believe people die? When we say a life ended, does the life really end? Or does it linger on earth even after the body is gone? Do dead people think of us? Do they come here after? Are they watching what we do? Vikraman thought of his father and the promise he had made to his father. Is he really watching what I'm doing? He thought. He said, I have such questions too, but I haven't found anyone to answer those questions. I think the whole thing called death is a falsehood. It's also silly to grieve for people who are dead. Ayanar, the sculptor, and Sivagami, his daughter, lived in this house 30 years ago. Those days, the sounds of chisel and ankle bracelets of dancers used to sound all the time. Sivagami used to dance wonderfully. Ayanar used to transcribe her dance poses into paintings and sculptures. So the divine-looking woman is Sivagami. Yes, it was during Emperor Mahendra's days. His son Narasimhavarman was around your current age at that time. I used to come here with him. We could hear the sounds of dancing, ankle bracelets from quite a distance on our way here. I can't still believe Ayanar and Sivagami are not here. If I listen carefully, I can still hear the ankle bracelet and chisel. Vikraman's curiosity was piqued. He requested Veerasenan for more information on Ayanar and Sivagami. Veerasenan obliged. He talked about Ayanar's peerless artistic skills. He also talked about Sivagami's beauty and dancing skills. He briefly alluded to the love that blossomed between the young Narasimhavarman and Sivagami, how the love was disrupted by the tyrant Pulikesi and his army's charge, how Sivagami was taken as a captive by Pulikesi, Narasimhavarman's efforts to free Sivagami, how Sivagami swore an oath, and how Narasimhavarman fulfilled the oath. Then he described how Sivagami realized her love could not succeed and was heartbroken. Vikraman was moved to tears at various points of the story. He developed a new regard for Emperor Narasimhavarman. It might be fair to say he even developed some affection towards the emperor. He reminded himself of the promise he made to his father and recalled that Narasimhavarman was the sworn enemy of his clan. It was almost early morning when they slept. They slept for 3 hours. Vikraman was woken up by the music of the birds. He wondered if he had dreamt the previous night's happenings. He had to look around to confirm that he had not. Devasena, the horse is well rested and is raring to go. It did not stay up like we did. Once you finish the morning ablutions, you can get on your way to Orayur, called the spy chief from outside. Vikraman finished his morning routines and ate the simple breakfast that the old woman provided. He took leave from Veerasenan. Sir, I am indebted to you. I can't possibly repay you for saving my life. However, I don't want to accept the horse for free. Can you please accept this as the price of the horse? He offered him a fistful of gems. You are mistaken. I have not gifted you my dear horse. I have just lent it to you. After you finish your business, please return the horse at the same place on your way back, said the spy chief. I will do so. However, please accept these gems as a token of my gratitude, said Vikraman. Veerasenan agreed and accepted the gems. Vikraman mounted the horse. The spy chief patted the horse and said, "This horse is accustomed to the route to Urayur. If you let it go on its way, it will get you to Urayur. You don't need any directions." The horse walked along the path in the forest. Vikraman kept turning back to look at the sculpture house and the spy chief until they both disappeared from view. In daylight, he could see the aura of the spy chief's face and his graceful bearing. Those had made a deep impression on him. End of chapter 6.